Hi, guys, and welcome to Keep Hope Alive. This is Nadine. We have a special guest today. Her name is Dr. Charlene Smith. But before we get started on her, I want to tell you about Keep Hope Alive and Party Time Podcast. We are going full steam ahead. We have so many different guest speakers. I want you to keep in tune with us. This is a real show, real meaning, real life things, and it's fun. I'm telling you. So wherever you find your podcast, you can find us. So I want to talk about Dr. Charlene Smith. She has been helping many women date successfully for more than 35 years. Her strategies are plentiful and varied, from billboards on the highway, online dating, to helping friends introduce friends. Since the age of 66, which I don't believe, you look like maybe you're my age. So you don't even. She has produced a streaming series, Set It Off Senior Style, a show about strategies for getting back into the dating arena, how to date safely, and when it becomes a relationship, skills for loving and having long-term meaningful partnerships. Well, today, before we get started, do you know who Life on Record is?
Life on Record? No, tell me about it.
Okay, so Life on Record, when we go to weddings or special events, we're always coming in, well, sometimes, definitely, but there is like a book full sign that is called our guest book, and it's to let the couple know who attended. Well, they do it a little differently. You may see a vintage phone and it sits right out there. So you can pick it up and you can say, congratulations, you two. You can make it a 5-minute greeting or even 30-minute. But here's the thing. You can do it before or after. They have it good for a year. They give you a QR scan code that you can scan too. So if you're leaving and driving home, oh, we got a 30-minute drive, let's just leave our message then. And what they'll do is burn these recordings on a 12-inch record, or I call it the little boom box. So, like a year later or whenever you want to, you can listen to everybody have their greetings.
Wow.
So for 1 year, with the recordings and everything, it's only $99. I love it. So you can use it for all different events. So you can find their information at www.lifeonrecord.com. So Dr. Charlene, I call you Dr. Charlene, tell us about yourself. I can see in the back, Senior Seeking Soulmate. You've done a lot of stuff.
Well, I've been busy in my retirement, I tell you.
Good. Good. I think staying like motivated, ready to go and everything, but you're helping many people. So I'm going to let you drop the ball and tell us all about that.
Okay, well, I've been single for a while, and when I retired, I became a caretaker for my mom. And so I had a lot of time on my hands because I was at the beck and call of my mother, which I'm honored to be able to do that. However, there were times when I'm like, okay, I'm giving. I need to do something for myself. So I've always wanted to write a book. And when I went to the publisher, we were talking about all kinds of things. And when she said, well, where are you spending a lot of time doing things? I go, well, I have this TV series called Set It Off Senior Style, and we talk about senior dating. She goes, ding, 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 ding. And so I said, well, I don't have a platform for it. She goes, you got a TV show, you want to write a book, you've got clients. She goes, you have a platform.
You
and
do.
I'm like, oh, okay. And so getting the book published, satisfied one of the desires that I had. But then I found out there's this whole industry about it. And I've been telling my girlfriends and my clients how to do this and to give them hope that even though you're over 40, 50, you still can find love again. And my target market is for those African American women that are over 60. But the things we talk about apply to men, apply to anyone, young or old. And so I've been very happily surprised that a lot of young people are signing up to be coached for dating. Their reasons are a little different, their dynamics are a little different. But basically, my bottom line is when you love yourself, you give off this positive energy that I call radiating. And
Yeah.
when you radiate, that attracts positive people in your life. But there is a process to it, and that's what I teach. You have intentions, positive affirmations, you have to break the bonds, the energetic bonds of past relationships, and get to know who you are. Even if you're over 60, there's that area that we still may not be aware of, and we go through a process of getting that feedback about those blind spots. So it's
Yeah.
a whole process that we go through. The book has it all in there, but taking the companion course and getting that one-on-one coaching, it can happen a lot faster. So that's kind of how I got to where I am. I've been single for a long time. I've had wonderful love relationships. I have not gotten married again. However, I'm open to that. But my desire is long-term committed relationship. And with seniors, that's one of the differences. They may have had a long-term relationship and they're not interested in marriage again, and that's okay. And then some people have benefits from their spouse, and for some reason they're restricted in getting married again. They would lose that. So there's a lot of reasons that seniors don't make marriage as their goal. Young folks, yes, they want to get married again. But I just put something on my Facebook. A woman is 72 and she wore a white gown to her wedding to her new spouse. And so,
Oh,
we still get excited. We still have those feelings and want to get there. And now with the Golden Bachelor, oh my God,
I haven't heard that
everybody.
term yet. You got to educate me on what
Oh,
is Golden Bachelor?
it's a TV show on ABC. You know how they had the Bachelor and the
Wait, okay.
Bachelorette?
Yeah, I was one of their photographers. Well, on Pablo, the first season
Oh, really?
is I got sent down there, Fort Worth. They had an event, but it's so funny. There's so many women there, but they gave me a security guard too and a chair to stand on to take their pictures. But it was
Yes.
interesting. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So you're
Golden
familiar with The
Bachelor.
Bachelor. They
Oh
have
yeah.
the Bachelorette. So now they have the Golden Bachelor. And
Ah,
he
nice.
is 70, 72 or 74, somewhere in there. Wonderful portrayal of him. He seems like a really nice guy. And the women,
Oh.
they're a little different than the younger bachelorettes that are vying for his attention. Um, they are not, there's still some cattiness going on,
Yeah.
but a lot more of support of each other. You see a lot more hugging of each other in there. And so I think the more mature women have said, we can support each other, even though we're going for the same guy. We can still support each other, which,
Yes.
that's a different dynamic there also. So, seniors do have some different dynamics. We have to look at health issues. We have to look at what is it that's the desires of our heart. And then getting rid of some of those negative energetic bonds because we've lived life a little longer,
Yeah.
and doing a change in our mindset and being hopeful rather than saying there's nobody available in my age group. That's just not true. There are wonderful people. And I often tell my clients, well, would you date you? And sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no. And then I say, well, if you wouldn't date you, what makes you think someone else would date you? That's a mindset. So if you would date you, if you become the partner that you desire, there
Yeah.
are people out there. You're sitting at home on Friday and Saturday nights. Those great guys are sitting at home on Friday and Saturday nights. So we got to
Yeah.
find them where they are, draw them out. So, we also do
How do you
online.
do that? Yeah, like
How do you get them out? Oh, yeah, there's a lot of different things. We use networking, we go online. And I also teach people how to date online safely because there's some things that people don't even begin to think about when they get online. They get excited. They're like, okay, I'm going to try this, but you have to try it intelligently and safely. And so
yes,
we go through
you
that
do.
kind of
You
stuff.
do.
You do, you do. And then the networking amongst friends. So there's a lot of ways to draw out the good guys, the good women, if you're a guy looking for a good woman. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. I've always said I've been praying for whoever comes in my life next. And, it's one of those things you say, you can meet somebody too, and if something were to go wrong, it's like, was I praying for him? Those are questions. Like, I think even though somebody can get hurt, you have to try.
Yes,
Don't
yes,
let a horse, I'm going to say a horse, like somebody told me before, block you because, I think, people over time, if they've been duped in relationships, they will build a wall. And if you really like somebody, you're willing to try to take that wall down just a little bit, but it's
right.
going to be a day by day thing and be open. And that's what I've learned. But maybe not
Yeah.
too open because if you get crushed again, it's gonna hurt.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
it hurts. And I have done, because I talk about the Bible says pray specifically. And whether you're Christian, believe in the Bible or not, your desires of your heart need to come from a place that's desire and not from a place of lack or need. And
yeah.
that's why we go through the process. And you can pray specifically, and
Mhm.
God will answer those prayers. But again, sometimes we leave out a little something when we're praying specifically. I have done that, and I had someone come into my life that did everything that was in my prayer, and I didn't tell them. I didn't tell them these were the things I was looking for, and that's why I just knew this was God sending me my
Oh,
soulmate. And I called him my soulmate. However, he wasn't quite ready. He was a widow. He wasn't quite
yeah.
ready. He got started too quick. And I was like, okay, Lord, why did this prayer get answered?
Yes. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah. I had that
okay,
thought. I mean, I pray, right? Like
yes,
I
yes.
pray. And I was like, I call it two conversations. Thank you, God. I'm thankful for this and this. But when I don't
Uh-huh.
understand something, I say, me and God have an open communication. What's up? What happened?
Yes,
Can you show
exactly.
me anything? It's funny.
Yes,
I feel like, being real to God too is so important because He is listening. And, maybe it's not a time, maybe it's not in my season right now to
right,
even
right.
focus on that. So,
Well, for me, it was a lesson, and there were several lessons actually. One, the prayer that I prayed is because someone had never treated me the way that I wanted to be treated, and these were things that I wanted to experience. And in this industry, I was able to experience someone giving me flowers every week. Did
oh,
not tell him that's what I wanted. Someone that got my love language, didn't tell him what that was.
good.
Someone that would we even dressed alike sometimes, that would be affectionate in public. One of my things was I wanted a practicing Christian, and he belongs to a church, and he goes to church almost every Sunday. Not every Sunday. I didn't want to zealot, but I wanted someone that would go to church. And so he did that. But I wanted them to ask me early on in the dating process to take me to their church and introduce me to people. And our second date was in church, and he introduced me to people. So my
Oh,
prayer was very specific, and it
yeah.
was answered. And I was like, okay, this has to be my soulmate because of all these things that are happening. And I didn't tell him my prayer. And so I was like, okay. But then because you may find your soulmate doesn't mean that you're going to keep that soulmate. I had another person that I had a great relationship with. I wasn't sure if they were my soulmate, but we were vibing really good. And just one thing after another came up that we could not be together. And then eventually he died. And,
Didn't
you know,
expect you to say that.
yeah, yeah, he died. I lived in Korea for 4 years.
Oh, okay.
And he was a Korean man, and so it was totally out of my box, right? You
Yeah.
never know what your gift is going to be wrapped in, and he was a gift. He was a little bit of a bad boy, but me not being able to speak Korean and him speaking enough English, we were able to communicate, and we had a great time. He showed me around Korea, taught me about some of the Korean customs. And whenever he opened the door, he would say, "My princess." I mean, this was every
Oh,
time he opened the door, he would bow and say, "My princess." I mean, it was wonderful. But he couldn't um, he couldn't leave his family because the Korea family system is very, very different. He was the head of his family, and he just couldn't see leaving his family. But he said he would come visit and those kinds of things. We could Skype. It was Skype at that time. And but he also told me that he had some health issues. And so I
mhm.
was like, okay, so he's with his doctor. That's another thing with seniors. You have to consider health issues. And he had his doctor and everything set up. And then eventually I found out he had cancer and it took him. And so, but we stayed in contact, and I had a mutual friend that she has an English speaking school, and that was one of his close friends. Her husband and him had gone to school, like elementary school, all the way through college and stuff together. And
Yeah,
so when he got sick, she let me know. I was going to go to Korea, and he said no because he didn't think I would get there in time. And the time I was trying to go, I would not have gotten there in time. And
wow.
so just because you meet your soulmate or someone you think may be your soulmate, or it's really good long-term relationship, doesn't mean that it's going to last for a number of reasons. You
Yeah.
know,
And then
so
sometimes you meet people and you get that close connection and it feels like you've known them forever, but then you can just you lose it and maybe not by
yeah,
choice, but
yeah, and things happen, and my mother and father were married 56 years.
wow.
And my mother was like, you never know everything
Yeah.
about your spouse. You never know everything about another person. So even at 56 years after my father passed, my mother was finding out stuff, not necessarily bad things, but things that you would think they would have talked about in 56 years, but they didn't. And one of the things that she found out during their marriage. I was born already, but they were going to go to Germany, and that was in the 70s, and they got married in the late 50s. So we're talking at least 20 years, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And my dad had to get his passport, and he didn't have a birth certificate. She had our birth certificates, and we're looking at our birth certificates. So when I was born, his age was like 32. When
Okay.
my brother was born, his age was 31. When my sister was born, which was 5 years later, he was 33. So something was wrong with his age, right? And she never even thought about that discrepancy. So they had to get a
Oh my.
family, yeah, they had to get a family member to do a page from the Bible because that's how they basically kept records back then. And where they did file something for his birth, it got burnt down. So there were no records, only this Bible. And my mother found out that she knew he was older than her, but she thought he was like maybe 12 years older. Come to
Yeah.
find out, he was like 16 years older than her based
Love
on
is
that
love there.
record. There was lots of love. My dad really took care of our family. We had everything we needed and most of what we wanted. He was in the military, and he took care of my mom even after death. She's got all kind of benefits that, she doesn't have to work or worry about anything. And so yeah, 56 years, and there are still things she found out after he passed. So you never know everything about a person. However, one of the tips I give in background checks is, and that I do, on the first date, I ask for a driver's license.
I'm
I
gonna
do.
I'm gonna do that now. I definitely
I
have.
asked I asked for a driver's license. There's a lot of free background checks things you can do, like the phone number. I checked on one guy, and there was this woman, and there was like four names below it, so they were on a family plan. And I was like, why is your phone in a woman's name? He goes, well, we were married, now we're divorced, and I just kept it. And I'm like, okay. So I started looking. Was there divorce record? That's public records. There
Yes.
weren't there weren't any public records. And so I'm like, well, I can't find your divorce. Do you have the papers? Yeah, I'll give them to you. I'll give it to you. Well, never gave them to
No.
me. No, but like the guy in Korea, even though it was in Korean, I
Yeah.
said, you're going to give me your papers to show me your divorce. He said, yes, no problem. And he brought me papers. And I'm like, okay, he thinks I can't find out what this is because it's in Korean, right? He could have given me,
Oh boy.
anything. And so I had friends because I belonged to Toastmasters. I had friends, and I had a secretary that was Korean, and I had two different people read it, and they both said, "Yeah, he's divorced." So it
That's
was like,
good. I think that is so important in today's age of dating because I'm sorry, I'm finding really all married men still looking on dating sites. I can't believe this. Somebody heard my podcast before going on a date with me, but they went on a lunch date, but they asked how to get back with their wife.
how to get? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I was like, I feel having this podcast, I'm still not going to find love because they're going to be like, yeah, she knows all this about love. She's going to be searching. Yes, I'm going to be searching. Come to the first date with paper. Show me you're not married because you know what? It happens both male and female. Get those papers.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll tell you another experience because you talked about the billboard experience.
Yes.
So this was when I was single at 35, and a group of us got together and we put a billboard up, and it said 35 plus looking for love on the billboard because, it had to be a condensed
Yeah.
message. We had seen the guys in Houston, they'd done a billboard and they got a lot of responses. This was back in the 90s, early 2000s. And so we put the billboard up and we got about 80 responses. Some of them, I think it was like two or three were from jail, people that were in jail. And
Wow.
then, we had one lady that wrote us and she said, I want to invite you to church so you can get saved. She made the assumption we weren't saved. And then we had some that were like, yeah, I'm such and such, and I'd really like to get to meet you. And we ended up, there were six of us, and we ended up with 6 dates. But this one, I worked on the military installation, and this one sergeant major, who's the top of the NCO ranks, right?
Yeah.
He calls me at work and he says, I saw the newscast about your billboard. I didn't realize you were lonely. He goes, I'd love to take you to dinner. And I said, I'd love to go to dinner with you as long as you bring your wife. You know, you
Bring
know,
your wife with you. Let's
yes,
meet her. Yeah.
yes, well, I'd met her, I knew her. And so I was like, okay, maybe I need to change my prayer because I did pray for a husband, but I needed to pray for a husband of my own, not somebody else's husband.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
So,
So they're out there, but you do have to do your homework. And I have a friend that someone that was legally separated approached her, and she said, "No, you come talk to me when you have your divorce." And that's the right thing to do because they go back. Sometimes people get married a second time. They realize that the divorce is a mistake and they want to go back because that's what they know. That's their maybe first love in life or their
comfort
true love in
zone.
life,
Yeah,
comfort zone. And that's okay. But it's like, don't get other people involved in that process because, like you say, that hurts. You
exactly.
think there's a possibility there and maybe you really have a lot of things in common, and then they decide to go back. I've been there too.
Yeah,
I actually dated someone that was divorced and saw the papers and all of that,
yeah.
thought it was going to be great. We got engaged. I actually had a beautiful diamond ring, and they went back to their wife. And he said, well, I've known her for 19 years. I've only known you for 2, and she needs me. Like, okie dokie, as I fall flat on the floor
Yeah,
into the ugly cry, but yeah, but there's still hope. Your heart will get hurt, but there are processes to like lick your wounds, get over it, and get back up. Like they say, if you fall off the horse, lick your wounds, get back on that horse and ride it again. And Tyler Perry is one of the ones that influenced me after my last marriage because I was closed. I was like, ain't doing that again. And he said, don't give up on love because you may have these lessons in life related to love. And those lessons that you learn are going to make you a better partner for the one. And I was like, okay, I'm kind of listening. He says, because the one is out there learning their lessons too. And God is going to put your paths together and you're going to cross that path. And if you're closed to love, you're going to miss the love of your life. So being prepared, opening your heart, and God knows the timing of that, but opening your heart so that you can receive that love. One of my affirmations is I open my heart to give love and to receive love. That is an energetic thing that happens in your body. And when it happens, you will attract the goodness, the positivity in life, not just your partner, but the positivity of life. And when you're living with an attitude of gratitude, of positivity, you're going to radiate and you're going to get that date and you're going to get that special someone that's met just for you, that's gone through the lessons of life to be that partner for you. No one is perfect, but when you're in a state of attitude of gratitude and you have the hope and you're keeping the faith and you have that positivity, whatever is there, you're going to be able to work through it together,
Yeah,
together.
together.
And when
Okay, I'm
my
listening.
thing, yeah, my one of my things is patience, and
Oh, I learned that this year very much. I
yes.
was single for a while. Unfortunately, in my life, I didn't have really chances to be single or focus on me, and so when I did that, I even here's another thing. I went through the gastric bypass and sleeve, and it changed me as a person. And I
Hmm.
realized more people would talk to me the way I look now than
Yes.
before. So when I would meet people, like I still go, why are they talking to me? Like,
Yes.
I had to come out of that comfort zone. And I remember I was at my regular place where I do karaoke, and I put my hair in a hat, ball cap, and I'm sitting there. And my friend I've known for like 10 years walks by me, and I'm like, psst. He's like, is that you? And I go, yeah. He's like, what are you doing in the ball cap? And I go, I don't want to be bothered. He goes, can I sit by you? And I go, yes, you can. And he goes, well, let's do a test. Let's see what happens when you take the ball cap off. And I'm like, no. But I ended up doing it. And I think there was like 3 different people that talked to me. But it was like, there's times I want to hide and wear the ball cap because I just don't want to be bothered. I want to enjoy my time there. Then there's other times where let's be the free spirit that you are. Go have fun, meeting new people, fun to do.
Hmm.
But you got to be
Yeah.
careful.
Yeah.
Girl, I've been through a lot to learn those kind of lessons too. But
Yeah.
definitely. So, uh,
Well,
go
let
ahead.
me tell you something about the weight because I had gastric bypass also. And the weight is protection. When
Uh-huh.
you have that weight, you're protecting yourself from the world. And when you let go of that barrier, either through bariatric or through, a rigorous, consistent eating program where you lose a lot of weight, you do open yourself up. And it's a process that happens. It's not so much the weight per se, because I have clients that have that extra weight, but they're able to attract really good people because it's really the inside. But when you lose that weight, it's a process of opening up again and you become more positive about yourself because
Yes.
society gives us these messages about being overweight, which are not always true. But if you buy into it, that's one of the things that you need to get rid of. So when you lose all that weight, you're also losing that protection and you become
Yes.
more open. And that's really what's happening. It's not so much the weight, but that you are opening up. And like you said, when you go out with intention, you go out with, I don't want anybody to talk to me, or you go out with, I'm going to be open and have that. And that's kind of what happened with the Korean boyfriend I was telling you about. He was the golf instructor on the military installation. And one of the things you can do is go places where there's more guys. So with intention, I said, I'm going to go out, I'm going to take these golf lessons, and I'm going to get somebody to ask me for my number. I'm not going to go ask me for my number, but because of how I am, I'm setting the intention that somebody's going to ask me for my phone number. So I intentionally went and I was talking with the guys. That was three guys there, and the instructor and myself. And so we're going through, and the instructor asked everybody to sign their name, their phone number, all of that. And then he kept coming back to me, asking me more questions, and he wasn't asking the guys questions. And I'm like, why is he asking me these questions? And then he said, will you write your phone number down? He didn't ask anybody else to write the phone number. So he said, would you? I said, sure, I'll give you my phone number. And I didn't see a ring on his finger. So I'm like, okay, here's my phone number. And then by the end of the lessons, he comes over and he says, will you go to lunch with me? And I was
Oh,
like, yeah, I'll go to lunch with you. So he asked me for my phone number, and I got a date. And we kept dating after that. So those intentions, like you were talking about, putting the ball cap, that's a barrier. Or you take it off and you open yourself up and you're smiling and you're flirting, that's attractive. And you were by yourself. And when you're by yourself, that makes it easier for someone to approach you. So
yes,
yes,
yes.
but that is what we go through is the intentions. My course is going to be the 28th of November,
Oh,
and I
okay.
wanted to get that out. And they can go to my website, which is seniorseekingsoulmate.com.
Nice.
Um, my email is Dr. small d small r period Smith at seniorseekingsoulmate.com. And so they can, my Facebook is the same thing, Senior Seeking Soulmate. So there are a lot of ways to find me. They can, what is it, slip into the DMs on my Facebook.
I get
Like,
used to that. Yeah, I
yeah.
am lately, but I don't mean to be mean to people. If you just write hi, I'm saying hi in my head. Yeah, I'm so busy. It's like, okay, DM me. And, it's like, I want to get back with everybody. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's Facebook started their dating thing too.
Yes, they did. They did. But, regardless of the site, so like mine is
Yeah.
Senior Seeking Soulmate, they can come on the Facebook. But the course is the 28th of November. If they contact me, I will have a free 30-minute consult and we'll see if the course is a good fit or maybe it's individual coaching that they're interested in. And although it's about seniors, in any age can benefit from the course and the coaching. And of course, there's my book on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. My book is Senior
Senior
Seeking
Seeking
Soulmate.
Soulmate. And guess what, guys?
Yeah.
I opened up a store. So if you go into the website under www.keephopealivepodcast.com, at the bottom where they have everything, it says store. And with my guest speakers, if they have a book out, I'm putting their book there so people can click
Yay.
and we'll take
Thank
them to the
you.
Amazon link and everything to purchase that book. And then
Thank you.
you to feel free on Facebook, social media. If you are giving away like a consultation or winning a book, I want you to add that on there too. So to get that out
Okay.
there as well. But
Great.
gosh, I've enjoyed all this time with you.
Yes, it went fast. My goodness.
Oh my gosh, it sure did. Just, people don't lose hope. It's out there and there's different websites for what is it? Oh, I forgot the name of the senior one now, the dating one. What was
Oh,
that? Our
there's
time.
silver singles, there's our time, there's seniors, oh gosh, seniors something. But there's a lot of them. Our time, silver singles, even Bumble has a part of it for people over, I think it's over 50 or 60.
Nice.
Um, yeah, a lot of the websites, even, Tinder is that one where people were just hooking up for one night stands. Well, wait a minute. I wouldn't go on Tinder myself. I'm just talking about the trends.
I'm sorry, tender. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Tinder now has where if you're looking for a relationship, so they're kind of diversifying their
Yeah.
website, which I was surprised about that. But yeah, even Tinder has started to diversify. People are looking for real relationships. But again, like I said, if they want some tips on how to do it safely, I have that. And, doing background checks on people, start out with a coffee date. That way it doesn't cost anyone if you don't want them to treat you because it's not vibing. then, you buy your own coffee, you haven't spent a whole lot of money,
Yeah.
or if they treat you, they haven't spent a whole lot of money.
Yeah,
And,
definitely.
so start out slow, try not to move too fast. Like I said, with one of my soulmates, it was really great. But and that's the other thing too. You can have more than one soulmate in your life. And
Definitely.
so but they had only lost their spouse for maybe, I think she'd been gone maybe 5 months, and that still was a little too soon. But I give him props. He was getting out there to see, what how he could find companionship. So everybody wants companionship. And like I said, when you become a senior, that companionship may look a little differently than when you're in your 20s and 30s. But still, love is out there. As you say, keep hope alive. Just
Yeah.
because you've got a few gray hairs in your
Oh, I know.
hair.
My hair's
Yeah,
all coming in gray. I don't even care anymore.
yeah, exactly. You still can find love, and we all deserve love. And
We do.
sometimes we just have to go through that process to learn how to open our hearts so that we attract that person. We become the partner that we want to date.
Yes. Yes, definitely. And then the radiation and positive
Oh,
energy.
yes, exactly,
So,
exactly.
oh my gosh. Well, I also, really quick, I wanted to thank our sponsors for this show. We have, of course, Life on Record, which I talked about is the interactive guest book, which is really cool. So you can go to lifeonrecord.com, Bridal Shows Inc. If you are planning an event, you can look and see when those dates are and everything. And they have, I guess it's in Texas right now. It's Fort Worth and Dallas area, but you can go meet different vendors to get ideas on your events. Then partytimetexas.com, your one-stop shop for all your party needs. They have bands,
Wow.
DJs, caterers. Contact Nadine. I work there. So, but we have a segment called Party Time Texas Podcast where we're interviewing different vendors to also make it very easy to see what they can promote and everything. But we even got the like the neon robot or the
Oh,
juggler.
wow.
There is an episode with Miles and Smiles is my next sponsor. She's amazing. She is like, I think they call it like, well, she's an investigator and a profile reader, but I don't think she calls herself that, but she does handwriting and analyst and then
Wow.
lipstick reading, and she's very accurate. That's what I look for in a good vendor. So Miles and Smiles, it's deborahrose.com. So definitely check her out. We have also Bryce Harney, who is now traveling everywhere. He's a magician and mentalist, which is amazing. Um, BryceMagic.com as well. So I think that's everybody. If I missed, but oh, Richmond Punch, RichmondPunch.net. He is a violinist. He's been out this for years and years. He's on TV, he's done movies. I mean, over 1 million people one time. He's just out there. He's amazing. There's an episode on him too. Miles and Smiles has an episode. And then we're trying to get everybody else in there. Oh, Naomi with the Bridal Shows Inc. She has an episode on the podcast. So you can definitely see those sponsors on the site. We also have a phone number that you can call in if you have questions for Dr. Smith. It's Dr. Charlene Smith, or what have questions about after reading the book. You can go to 833-780-HOPE. And I think that's I said 4673. I'm getting so old, but it's hope. But yeah, definitely. Wherever you find your podcast, you'll find us, and we hope you'll sign up and everything. But once again, thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Thank you.
Love and light, guys. Thank you.
Yes.
Until next time, it's a holiday week. So have a great
Yes.
Thanksgiving. All right. Until next time. Bye bye.